Welcome to the deep dive. AI.
Yeah.
It's everywhere these days, and it feels like every time you turn around, there's a new headline about it doing something incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic.
It is.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can feel like it's straight out of science fiction,
Yeah.
but it's already having a huge impact. And today we're going deeper, beyond the hype to
Right.
really try and understand what AI means for us, what really matters about it.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do that using the sources you've sent in.
Awesome.
So specifically, we're going to be diving into how AI is changing the job market,
Okay.
the potential for AI to maybe
Yeah.
become a little too smart.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah, that's the one that keeps me up at night sometimes, and then ultimately we'll try and answer the question, is AI going to be our best friend or our biggest problem?
Right, and you've picked some really insightful sources that get right to the heart of those issues.
Yeah, well, hopefully. So, one of the things I've been seeing a lot lately, and your sources reflect this, is this concern about AI taking over jobs.
Yeah.
And, it's a little unsettling to think about, honestly.
Oh, it's a completely valid concern, I think, especially when you look around and you see more and more tasks being automated by AI. I mean, you've got chatbots that are handling customer service calls now.
Right.
AI tools like Midjourney and Runway AI that are creating incredible art and design work. And even, complex financial analysis is being done by algorithms these days.
So are those jobs just gone then?
Not necessarily. It's not quite that simple. I think the way to think about it is that AI is really good at very specific tasks, but it's not replacing human thinking altogether. It's more like it's changing the types of jobs that are out there.
Okay, I think I'm following you.
Yeah.
So instead of needing those customer service reps, now we need people who can build and manage the AI chatbots.
Exactly. And it goes beyond that, too. Your source has highlighted a bunch of other new roles that are emerging. Things like big data specialists that can make sense of all the information that AI needs, AI system supervisors to oversee these systems, make sure they're working as intended. And then you even have AI ethics and regulatory analysts.
Whoa, AI ethics analysts, that's fascinating. I never even thought about that.
It's a really important and growing field. It's all about ensuring that AI is used responsibly and doesn't cause more harm than good.
Right, makes sense. But there's still that statistic. We
Mm.
can't ignore 85 million jobs potentially lost globally by 2025 because of AI.
Yeah.
That number's kind of hard to stomach.
I know it is a scary number, but that same source also predicted that 97 million new jobs related to AI are going to pop up in the same time frame.
Okay.
So it's not as simple as a net loss of jobs. It's more like this huge shift in the job market landscape.
Okay, so it's not about AI stealing all our jobs. It's more about AI changing what skills are valuable in the workplace.
Exactly, and that's where it gets interesting for all of us listening. What skills do you think will be most important in this new landscape? The kind of skills that are future-proof, no matter how much AI advances.
That's a really good question to think about.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense that, technical skills like programming and coding would be in high demand.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not just the technical stuff. Your sources also emphasize the importance of skills like critical thinking, creativity, problem solving.
Oh, okay.
Remember, AI excels at following instructions, but it's still humans who need to set those instructions in the first place and adapt them as new situations come up.
Right, so it's not just about knowing how to use AI. It's about understanding why we're using it and what the implications are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
AI can process information and identify patterns in a way that humans never could, but it's still up to us to interpret those patterns and make judgments based on context and ethics.
So it's almost like AI is going to push us to be more human, to focus on those uniquely human skills that AI can't replicate.
I like how you put that. That's a really fascinating dynamic. But I think we should move on to the next big question that's on everyone's mind. And it's one of those things that feels straight out of a sci-fi movie. Can AI actually become conscious and take over?
Yeah, that's the part that always gets me a little freaked out. This idea of AI becoming self-aware and maybe even deciding it doesn't need us humans anymore.
Yeah, I get it. It's a common fear, but I think if we break it down, current AI, as impressive as it is, it's still based on the data and the algorithms that we create. It doesn't have genuine emotions or a sense of self like we do. It can't just decide to go rogue because it doesn't have its own desires or goals yet.
Yeah, what do you mean yet?
Well, there's this field called reinforcement learning where AI is actually being trained to set its own goals based on rewards and punishments. It's still pretty early stages, but it's definitely one of the more thought-provoking areas of AI research.
Okay, that's where I start to get nervous.
I know, and some scientists believe that within a few decades we could actually see something called superintelligence.
Superintelligence, is that like AI with superpowers?
In a way, yeah, it's the idea that AI could actually surpass human intelligence. across the board, meaning it wouldn't just be good at math or chess, it would be better at everything, problem solving, learning, even creativity,
Hmm.
and crucially, it would be able to set its own goals that might not align with our own.
So the whole robots taking over the world scenario isn't so far-fetched after all.
It's definitely a possibility we need to consider seriously, and your sources go into some really interesting potential risks that are worth exploring. I think we should do that after a quick break.
Okay, yeah, let's dive into those risks.
That's good.
Okay, so we've talked about AI changing the job market and this potential for like super intelligence. But let's get into the risks here.
Okay.
What are some of the ways that AI could actually, become a threat?
Well, it's important to remember that AI itself isn't good or bad. It's a tool. And like any tool, it really depends on how it's used.
Right.
One of the concerns your sources raised is this possibility of AI being used to control information and manipulate people.
Ooh, that's a scary thought. Is that even possible with like AI as it is today?
Think about how much of the information we get already comes from algorithms. You
Mm,
know, social media feeds, search results, news recommendations, they're all curated by AI.
yeah.
Now imagine a system that can not only curate that information, but also create it spreading misinformation or propaganda that's like indistinguishable from real news.
Right.
That's a very real possibility with these advancements in AI-generated text and video.
Wow, that's unsettling. It's like a super-powered propaganda machine,
Yeah.
that could control what we see and believe.
Exactly. And that's just one potential risk. Another concern is the use of AI in autonomous weapon systems.
Oh, right. I've heard about that, like drones that can make decisions about who to target without any human involvement.
That's right. The idea is that AI could make faster, more accurate decisions in warfare, but the ethical implications are huge. What happens if an AI system makes a mistake? Who's responsible for the consequences?
Right.
These are questions we need to grapple with before these technologies become widespread.
It's like giving a machine the power of life and death that feels like a line we shouldn't cross.
Yeah, it's a very complex issue with no easy answers, and there are even more potential risks to consider, like AI's impact on the economy, for example.
Yeah, my sources mentioned something about AI algorithms like causing chaos in the financial markets.
That's right. If AI systems gain control over financial markets, their actions could have unpredictable and potentially devastating effects. Think about high-frequency trading, where algorithms already make millions of trades per second. Now imagine those algorithms becoming so complex and interconnected that they create this cascade effect leading to a market crash.
Okay, I'm officially nervous now. It seems like there's so many ways that AI could go wrong.
Yeah.
But your sources also talk about AI being used for good. So is there like hope that AI can actually be a force for positive change in the world?
Absolutely. It's important to remember that AI has the potential to solve some of humanity's biggest challenges.
Okay, give me some good news. I need it.
Okay, let's start with healthcare. AI is already being used to analyze medical images and diagnose diseases with incredible accuracy, often catching things that human doctors might miss. It can also personalize treatments, predict outbreaks, even develop new drugs.
So AI could help us live longer, healthier lives. That's pretty amazing.
And then there's the environment. AI can be used to monitor deforestation, track pollution, and even predict natural disasters, giving people time to evacuate and potentially saving lives.
Okay, that's definitely good news. We could use all the help we can get when it comes to the environment.
Right, and let's not forget the potential of AI in education. Imagine personalized learning plans tailored to each student's needs and abilities. AI could make education more accessible and engaging for everyone, regardless of their background or learning style.
That sounds fantastic. I wish I had an AI tutor when I was struggling with algebra in high school.
The possibilities really are endless. AI could help us address global hunger, poverty, and inequality. It's really a question of how we choose to use this incredibly powerful technology.
It sounds like we're at this like crucial turning point with AI. We have this incredible power at our fingertips, but we also have the responsibility to make sure it's used for good.
You got it. And I think that brings us back to something we talked about earlier, the need for AI ethics and regulation.
How do we ensure that AI is developed and used responsibly? Is it even possible to like control something that's constantly learning and evolving?
It's a big challenge for sure, but it's one we can't afford to ignore. We need to establish clear guidelines for AI development, promote transparency and accountability, and involve diverse perspectives in the conversation about AI's future.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about the people who are creating and using it.
Exactly. The choices we make today will determine the kind of future we create with AI. And that leads me to a final thought I'd like to leave you with.
Okay, I'm all ears. All right, lay it on me. What's the final thought?
Well, we've talked about how AI is learning and adapting at an incredible pace, right?
Yeah, it's almost hard to keep up with all the new developments.
Exactly. And that made me wonder, if AI can learn and adapt so quickly, shouldn't we be doing the same? How can we become more AI ready, for the changes that are already happening?
Ooh, I like that. AI ready. So what does that even look like?
It's not just about becoming a tech expert or learning to code, though those skills are certainly valuable. It's more about being open to new ways of thinking and being adaptable and willing to learn new skills throughout our lives.
So it's about like having a growth mindset, being willing to embrace change and not be afraid of the unknown.
Precisely. And it also means being informed and engaged citizens, participating in the conversations about how AI is being developed and used. We can't just leave it up to the tech companies or governments to decide our future.
That's a good point. It's easy to feel powerless when you see how fast technology is advancing, but we all have a role to play in shaping how AI impacts our lives.
Exactly. And I think that's what this deep dive has really been about, empowering you to understand AI, not just on a surface level, but in a way that helps you navigate the changes and opportunities that are coming our way.
When we started this deep dive, I have to admit I was a little apprehensive about the whole AI thing. It felt overwhelming, even a bit scary. But now I feel more curious than afraid. Like, this is a huge shift, but it doesn't have to be a negative one.
That's fantastic to hear. And it really reinforces the idea that knowledge is power. The more we understand about AI, the better equipped we are to shape its future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This has been a fascinating journey exploring the possibilities and the risks of AI, the ways it's already changing our world, and the choices we face as we move forward.
And remember, the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we create collectively through the decisions we make and the actions we take, and the future of AI is no exception.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We hope you've learned something new, gained a fresh perspective, and maybe even feel a little bit more AI ready for whatever comes next.